Have you ever encountered a woman who seems to defy the ordinary relationship between time and beauty? Not in the artificial, manufactured way that expensive treatments and surgical interventions can occasionally approximate, but in a way that is entirely different, entirely genuine, and entirely impossible to purchase from any store or replicate through any procedure. A woman who, as the years accumulate, becomes more arresting rather than less, more magnetic rather than more invisible, more deeply herself with every passing season, rather than progressively more anxious about what the passage of time is taking away. Her beauty is not the kind that peaks in a particular decade and then begins its slow recession. It is the kind that deepens, that becomes richer, more complex, more genuinely compelling with each year she inhabits more completely and more honestly. This beauty is not sold in magazines. It does not appear in the curated images of social media feeds that celebrate a very specific and very narrow window of physical appearance, while quietly suggesting that everything outside that window is somehow less. The radiance that belongs to the woman who grows more beautiful with time does not come from her skin, her measurements, or her ability to approximate the current standard of physical desirability. It comes from somewhere the beauty industry has absolutely no access to. It comes from the soul. Look at her face, and you find something there that youth, for all its undeniable physical gifts, cannot yet produce. An expression of genuine intelligence about what life actually is, what it actually costs, and what it actually offers to those willing to engage with it honestly. Her posture carries a quality of calm that is not practiced, but earned. She does not walk into a room and perform the act of arriving. She simply arrives. She does not reach for attention or arrange herself to be noticed, and yet something in the room responds to her presence. Some quality in the atmosphere shifts, in a way that has nothing to do with how she looks, and everything to do with what she carries inside her. Her energy is like a great and ancient tree, not the explosive, restless energy of something young and reaching, but the specific and extraordinary energy of something deeply rooted, broadly branching, capable of providing shelter to everything that comes near it. People feel rested in her vicinity. They feel seen. They feel that something genuine and unhurried is available in her presence, something that the frantically beautiful and the relentlessly performing cannot offer because they are too occupied with the maintenance of their own surfaces to have genuine interior space available for anyone else. This is not accident. This is not genetics or luck or the particular grace of a charmed life. These women have worked for this beauty with a specific and conscious dedication. Not the kind of work that shows up in gym records or skincare routines, but the kind of interior work that Carl Jung spent his entire career mapping and documenting. They have learned, gradually and sometimes painfully, that real beauty is the energy a person carries inside them. Their posture and their self-possession, their willingness to know themselves honestly and inhabit themselves completely. In this exploration, we are going to discover the 6 specific secrets of women who become more beautiful as time passes. And I want to make you a genuine promise. If you bring these understandings into your life, not as performance, not as technique, but as genuine interior practice. The way people encounter you will change. The way you move through the world will change. And most profoundly, the way you understand your own specific and irreplaceable attractiveness will change in ways you have never previously accessed. Until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life, and you will call it fate. Carl Jung. Your greatest and most beautiful journey is the one that leads you back to yourself. Subscribe to Carl Jung Philosophy and hit the like button, and let's walk that path together. But before the 6 secrets, there is a foundational truth that must be received and genuinely held, because everything that follows rests upon it. What is it that actually makes a woman beautiful in the deepest and most lasting sense? Society delivers its answer with relentless consistency. Be young, be physically perfect, maintain the specific configuration of features and proportions that the current cultural moment has designated as desirable. But this answer, examined honestly, is not actually about beauty at all. It is about conformity to a constantly shifting standard that serves the industries built around the manufacture of inadequacy. The actual truth is considerably more interesting and considerably more available. A woman who is considerably older can be considerably more compelling than a woman who is younger. Not despite the years she has lived, but because of what those years, engaged with honestly and with genuine self-awareness, have produced inside her. She knows herself. She has met herself in the dark and come through it. She has peeled away, layer by layer, the masks she was handed in childhood and adolescence. The masks that said, "This is who you must be to be loved. This is how you must present yourself to be accepted. This is what you must suppress to be tolerated." And on the other side of all that careful, courageous removal, she found what was always there waiting beneath every layer of performance. Her actual self. And that self, fully inhabited, fully owned, fully expressed without apology, that is one of the most genuinely beautiful things a human being can become. The first secret is this: knowing yourself is more powerful than any makeup you will ever apply. Before anyone registers your hairstyle, your clothing, or the precision of your grooming, they register your relationship with yourself, the energy you carry in your body, the quality of your self-possession. A woman who genuinely knows herself does not seek approval before she acts. She does not wait for permission to take up space. She does not arrange herself for consumption. She simply exists in her own authority, and that authority is the most compelling thing most people will ever encounter in another human being. Carl Jung described what he called the persona, the social mask that most people construct in response to the collective's expectations, and then spend their lives inhabiting so thoroughly that they lose track of the face beneath it. The woman who grows more beautiful with time has done something that requires genuine courage and genuine patience. She has looked behind the persona. She has asked with genuine honesty, "Who am I when I am not performing for anyone's benefit? What do I actually want? What do I actually value? What would I choose if I were not choosing from fear? And having asked those questions and stayed with them long enough to receive genuine answers rather than rehearsed ones, she has built her life on what she found. This self-knowledge functions like a magnet, not in a manipulative or calculated way, but in the deeply natural way that genuine integrity always functions. When someone knows who they are and inhabits that knowledge without apology, other people feel it before they can explain it. They feel the specific quality of a person who is not negotiating with themselves about whether they deserve to be here. And that quality draws people toward it with a force that no physical attribute can replicate. How do you develop this in your daily experience? Walk with your spine long and your head level, not as vanity, but as a physical expression of the interior truth that you belong in the space you occupy. Speak at a pace that honors what you are saying, not hurried, not performing efficiency, but measured and clear and fully inhabited. Enter any space without asking permission from anyone in it. The world will mirror back to you exactly what you present to it. If you present yourself as someone who is tentatively hoping to be acceptable, the world will treat you as someone tentatively hopeful. If you present yourself as someone who has arrived, the world will receive you as someone who has. Leave the number 111 in the comments. In the symbolic and psychological framework Jung developed across his lifetime, 111 represents the awakening to authentic self-knowledge, the moment when a person stops performing who they were told to be and begins inhabiting who they actually are. If the first secret has landed somewhere real in you today, 111 is your signal. Leave it here. The second secret is the art of not being desperate. There is a psychological principle that governs human desire with extraordinary consistency. We want most intensely what we are not entirely certain we can have. This is not a manipulation to be deployed cynically. It is a genuine reflection of how human attention organizes itself. The woman who has cultivated genuine independence, who has built a life she is genuinely invested in, who has interests and projects and relationships and purposes that exist entirely outside the context of any romantic pursuit, radiates something that the woman who is waiting to be chosen cannot access. She is not performing unavailability. She is genuinely occupied with the business of living a life that matters to her. And that genuine occupation is one of the most compelling things she can offer to anyone who encounters her. The most captivating women are not the ones who pursue. They are the ones who are genuinely absorbed in their own becoming, in their own work, their own growth, their own specific and irreplaceable journey through the world. They have released the anxiety of being chosen because they have already chosen themselves. They have stopped waiting for someone to make their life feel meaningful because they are actively creating a life that is meaningful regardless of who is watching. This does not mean coldness. It does not mean manufactured distance or the calculated withdrawal of warmth. It means that your emotional well-being is genuinely grounded in your relationship with your own life, rather than in the specific responses of any particular person. It means you have enough. You are not approaching anyone from a posture of lack, and from fullness, from that quality of interior completeness. Genuine connection becomes possible in a way that anxious pursuit never allows. The third secret is that personal style is the soul made visible. The way you dress and present yourself matters, but not for the reasons the fashion industry insists upon. It does not matter because you need to be fashionable or because you need to approximate someone else's aesthetic ideal. It matters because the choices you make about how you appear in the world are a form of communication, a wordless statement about your relationship with yourself, your understanding of your own specific beauty, your willingness to inhabit your physicality as something worthy of care and intention. The woman with a genuine personal style does not follow trends because trends are irrelevant to her actual question, which is not what is fashionable right now, but what genuinely expresses who I am right now. She wears what makes her feel powerful in her own body. She chooses colors that resonate with her specific energy. She finds the silhouettes and the fabrics and the details that allow her to feel like herself rather than like a costume version of someone else's ideal. And because she dresses from the inside out rather than the outside in, what she wears carries an authority that no amount of expense or trend following can manufacture. Colors communicate more than most people consciously register. Red carries the energy of passion and decided presence. Black holds mystery and a quality of refined self-possession. White suggests clarity and a particular kind of peaceful confidence. Navy speaks of intelligence and natural authority. The earth tones carry warmth and genuine groundedness. None of these are universal truths. They are starting points for your own exploration of what specific colors do to your specific energy. Pay attention to what you feel when you wear different things. Your body knows. Your energy knows. Listen to what they tell you. Leave the number 444 in the comments. In the symbolic language that informed Jung's understanding of individuation across multiple traditions, 444 represents the stable and enduring foundation that forms when you stop dressing for others' approval and begin expressing yourself as a genuine act of self-respect and self-knowledge. If the third secret is calling you toward something you have been postponing, 444 marks that recognition. Leave it here. The fourth secret is the quiet power of feminine energy. And this requires careful understanding, because feminine energy is one of the most misunderstood concepts in contemporary culture. Feminine energy is not weakness. It is not passivity or compliance, or the suppression of genuine need and genuine opinion. It is precisely the opposite of all those things. Feminine energy is the capacity to attract rather than to pursue, to influence without force, to create space in which others want to offer their best rather than manipulating them into doing so. It is the deep understanding that the most powerful current in any relationship is not the one that pushes, it is the one that draws. In practice, this looks like allowing others to step forward rather than preemptively occupying all available space. It looks like inhabiting the present moment with genuine pleasure, rather than projecting anxiously into future outcomes. It looks like speaking in a tone that is unhurried and clear, rather than urgent and pressured, because urgency and pressure communicates scarcity, and scarcity repels what it most wants to attract. When you speak slowly and clearly, with the specific quality of someone who knows they are worth listening to and is in no hurry to prove it, the quality of attention you receive transforms immediately. The fifth secret is the profound power of meaningful silence. The most compelling conversationalists are not the ones who speak the most. They are the ones who listen most genuinely, who reveal themselves most selectively, and who create through what they do not say as much as through what they do. Mystery is not a game or performance. It is the genuine expression of an interior life that is too rich and too complex to be immediately downloaded into any single conversation. When you do not tell everything, when you allow space for curiosity to breathe and grow, you create a quality of engagement that the person who rushes to be fully known in the first 5 minutes cannot access. Eye contact, held with genuine warmth rather than challenge, communicates more than paragraphs of self-disclosure. The pause before you answer, taken not for dramatic effect, but because you are genuinely considering what you want to say, transforms the quality of what follows. The question that invites someone into territory they have never been invited into before creates a quality of connection that small talk can never approximate. If you could have lived in any other historical period, which would you choose and why? If you knew with absolute certainty that you could not fail, what would you attempt? These are not conversation tricks. They are genuine expressions of curiosity, and genuine curiosity is one of the most attractive qualities any human being can carry. Leave the number 528 in the comments. In the vibrational and symbolic framework that extends the archetypal language Jung developed, 528 represents the specific frequency of genuine resonance, the energy of a person who has stopped performing connection and started creating it through genuine presence, genuine listening, and the willingness to inhabit silence without filling it anxiously. If the fifth secret is describing something you already do or something you are genuinely called to develop, 528 is your signal. Leave it here. The sixth secret is the most important of all, and it is important to say clearly why it is the most important before revealing what it is. All 5 of the preceding secrets rest on a foundation. They are expressions of something deeper. They cannot be practiced effectively without this sixth thing being genuinely present. The sixth secret is independence, but not independence as isolation or independence as the performance of not needing anyone. Independence as the genuine inhabitation of a life that is fully and authentically your own. A life that does not require completion by another person before it becomes worth living. The single most common error that prevents women from accessing their full magnetic potential is the construction of a life that orbits around a relationship, that treats partnership as the destination rather than one of many beautiful dimensions of a full existence. A woman who has made a relationship the center of her gravitational system has inadvertently made herself smaller than she is. And that smallness, however much it is dressed in the language of love and devotion, communicates to everyone around her, including the person she loves, that she does not quite trust herself to be enough on her own. The most genuinely compelling women are the ones who are already full, who already have a life they are passionately invested in, who already have purposes and projects and communities and inner worlds that would sustain them and delight them, whether or not any particular relationship persisted. These women are not looking for someone to complete them. They are looking for someone worthy of being invited into a life that is already extraordinary. And the difference between those two postures, the searching for completion versus the offering of invitation, is the difference between magnetic and desperate, between the woman everyone wants to know and the woman everyone feels pressured by. How do you build this kind of independence in practice? You invest in something beyond any relationship. You find work or creative expression or a cause that matters to you enough that your engagement with it is a genuine source of meaning rather than a distraction from what you really want. You build friendships that enrich you rather than simply pass the time. You maintain the commitment to your own growth through reading, through learning, through travel, through the willingness to be challenged and stretched by things that take you beyond your current edges. You cultivate the ability to be alone without being lonely, to find your own company genuinely interesting, genuinely sufficient, genuinely worth inhabiting. A woman who is genuinely interested in her own life is one of the most interesting people in any room. A woman who has things she cares about deeply, who is in the process of becoming something she finds genuinely worth becoming. That woman does not need to reach for attention. Attention finds her. Not because she has engineered it, but because genuine aliveness is one of the rarest and most compelling things in the world, and everyone in the room can feel it without being able to explain exactly why. Your life is your greatest source of attraction, not your appearance, not your accomplishments. Your life, the quality of engagement you bring to it, the depth of feeling you allow yourself to experience within it, the willingness you demonstrate to inhabit it fully rather than hovering at a safe distance from your own existence. When your life is genuinely interesting to you, it becomes genuinely interesting to others. When you are genuinely excited by what you are building and discovering and becoming, that excitement is contagious in the most beautiful way. When you trust that your specific journey, with all its imperfections and all its detours and all its still unanswered questions, is exactly the journey worth taking, that trust becomes the most attractive thing about you. Real attractiveness has no expiration date. It is not a quality that peaks in your 20s and then slowly declines into irrelevance. It deepens with every year you choose to know yourself more honestly, inhabit yourself more completely, and offer yourself to the world more authentically. The woman who is most beautiful at 60 is not the one who has most successfully preserved the appearance of 30. She is the one who has, over those 3 decades of living, become most completely herself. If you carry these 6 understandings into your daily life, not as techniques to be deployed, but as genuine interior truths to be embodied, something will shift in how people encounter you. Something will shift in how you encounter yourself. You will stop looking for the reflection of your value in other people's responses to you, because you will have found it in a place that is permanent and that belongs entirely to you. You will stop performing attractiveness and start inhabiting it. And the difference between those two experiences, for you and for everyone around you, is everything. Subscribe to Carl Jung Philosophy and continue this journey with us, because real beauty is not a fixed destination, but an ongoing and deepening relationship with your own extraordinary interior life. And that journey, unlike every other kind of beauty, genuinely does get better with time. Leave the number 777 in the comments. In the symbolic language of quantum consciousness and the deep archetypal framework that informed Jung's understanding of individuation, the lifelong process of becoming fully and authentically yourself, 777 represents the complete alignment of your inner world with your outer expression. The moment when the mask falls away entirely, and what remains is simply, beautifully, completely you. If these 6 secrets have touched something real in your understanding of your own beauty and your own power today, 777 is your declaration. Leave it here. Let this community witness the moment you chose to stop diminishing yourself and started inhabiting the full, extraordinary, irreplaceable reality of who you actually are. Before we close, I want to speak to you directly, not as a viewer, not as an audience, but as the specific human being you are, with the specific history you carry, the specific doubts you have quietly made peace with, and the specific beauty you have not yet fully allowed yourself to claim. The privilege of a lifetime is to become who you truly are, Carl Jung. Not who you were told to be, not who you shaped yourself into in order to be loved by people who were not yet capable of loving you at your full size. Not the smaller, quieter, more convenient version of yourself that you learned to inhabit because the full version felt like too much to offer a world that seemed to prefer less. Who you actually are. In all your complexity and all your contradiction and all your magnificent, unfinished, still becoming particularity. That becoming, genuine, patient, courageous, is the most beautiful thing a human life can do. There is a woman inside you who is not waiting for permission. She is not waiting for the right relationship, the right moment, the right number on a scale, the right response from the right person before she decides she is worth inhabiting completely. She already knows she is worth it. She has always known. The question has only ever been whether you would trust her enough to let her lead. The most intense conflicts, if overcome, leave behind a sense of security and calm that is not easily disturbed. Carl Jung. Think about what you have already overcome, the versions of yourself you have had to release in order to arrive here, The relationships that ended and required you to discover that you were not only the role you had been playing within them, the seasons of doubt that you moved through without any certainty that something better was on the other side. And yet, you kept moving. Every one of those passages left something in you that cannot be taken away, a quality of knowing, a depth of empathy, a rootedness that the woman who has never been tested simply does not carry in her body the way you carry it in yours. You have earned every line on your face that speaks of genuine laughter. You have earned every moment of stillness you can now inhabit without anxiety. You have earned the specific quality of calm you bring to situations that would have overwhelmed the earlier version of yourself, and the fact that you carry it without fanfare, without asking anyone to acknowledge. The journey it required to develop it makes it more beautiful, not less. Your task is not to seek for love, but merely to seek and find all the barriers within yourself that you have built against it. Carl Jung. This is the work of a lifetime, and it is already underway in you. Every moment you choose honesty over performance, every time you speak from your actual experience, rather than the version of it that you believe will be most acceptable, every instance of genuine boundary setting, that tender, difficult, enormously courageous act of saying, "This is where I end, and I am not willing to compromise that for the comfort of someone who has not yet learned to respect it," is the work. Slow, invisible, irreversible work. The kind that produces the beauty that time cannot diminish, because it was never located in what time affects. There are people in your life who have not yet understood what they are looking at when they look at you. They are comparing you to a standard that was never designed to see what you actually are. They are measuring you against criteria that have nothing to do with the qualities that make you specifically and irreplaceably worth knowing. And the beautiful and liberating truth is that their inability to perceive you accurately is entirely about the limitations of their perception and entirely not about the reality of your worth. Knowing your own darkness is the best method for dealing with the darknesses of other people. Carl Jung. You have sat with your own darkness. You have not always enjoyed it or chosen it, but you have sat with it. And that sitting has given you something extraordinary. The ability to be present with other people in their difficulty without flinching. The capacity to witness someone's pain without immediately reaching to make it more comfortable for yourself. The particular kind of love that only someone who has been through genuine difficulty can offer, which is the love that says, "I am," not afraid of what you are carrying. You do not have to perform recovery for me. You can simply be where you are. That is a rare and extraordinary gift. And it belongs to you because of every hard thing you chose to face honestly rather than avoid. The meeting of two personalities is like the contact of two chemical substances. If there is any reaction, both are transformed. Carl Jung. You are someone who transforms the people around you, not through effort or intention, but simply through the quality of genuine presence you bring when you allow yourself to be fully there. When you stop performing and start inhabiting. When you trust the room enough to show up without armor. In those moments, something shifts in the atmosphere around you. People feel it. They cannot always name it, but they feel the specific difference between someone who is performing presence and someone who is actually there. And your actually there-ness is a gift that the world is quietly and consistently hungry for. You do not need to be younger to be beautiful. You do not need to be different to be magnetic. You do not need to be further along in your journey to be worth choosing by others, and far more importantly, by yourself. The 6 secrets we explored today are not things you need to acquire from somewhere outside yourself. They are things you need to remember. Things that were always yours. Things that accumulated within you through every year of genuine living, whether you recognized their value or not. The woman who becomes more beautiful with time is not doing something extraordinary. She is simply doing something that requires extraordinary courage. She is becoming consistently and without apology more fully herself. And you are already on that path. You have been on it longer than you know. The only question remaining is whether you will finally, completely, let yourself arrive.